headquarters of Ramsey Solutions, broadcasting from the Pods Moving and Storage Studios. It's the Ramsey Show, where we help people build wealth, do work that they love, and create actual amazing relationships. Number one best-selling author and host of the Dr. John Deloney Show, Dr. John Deloney, Ramsey Personality, is my co-host today as we answer your questions about your life and your money. Thank you for joining us, America. We appreciate you hanging out. The phone number is 888-825-5225. Thank you for jumping in. We appreciate you. I'm going to start off this hour with Michael. He is in Roanoke, Virginia. Hi, Michael. Welcome to the Ramsey Show.
Hey, Dave. How are you guys?
Great, man. What's up?
Hey, so I'll kind of get straight to it. So me and my fiance have been having some discussions about a car she was gifted when she graduated. Her stepmother had talked her dad into putting a lien on the car for about $10,000. And it's been about 5 years now, and we're starting to run into some problems with the car. And since those, in the last 2 years, her dad and stepmom have moved and have not given any addresses, haven't been in any contact, haven't got any responses to texts or calls. So don't really know what to do as far as with the car. I would say it's probably getting into the point where it's starting to get under that $10,000 as value. So we're trying to think of if it's worth just running it till the wheels fall off and dropping it off in their driveway if we can find it, or really what to do.
So why the disconnect? Why these people took off and nobody knows where they are?
Honestly, I think it's, she had a really good relationship with her dad, and she's got 2 or 3 other brothers and sisters that also did. And then when this new lady came in about, say, 5 years ago, she's kind of been more controlling. He works with her now, after he was retired. It's kind of like if when she was on the phone with him before, it had to be on speakerphone. She was in the background always talking. If he can never have one-on-one time with his kids, practically. So it's been kind of a mess. It's hurt her a lot because they were very close when she was living with them, and then after college and things, but it's kind of just disappear off the face of the earth.
Just as a point of clarification, he could have talked to his kids, but he chose not to.
Yeah.
And that is focusing all this energy on we hate her, hate stepmom, she's the worst, this lady. That's misdirected grief. The grief is dad has chosen a different life that doesn't include us, and that hurts like the pit of hell. And we got to deal from that. We got to deal with that, right? That doesn't help your car situation, but that's where the grief has to start. And when dad moves away and doesn't even tell you where he is, that's a very clear behaviors of language. That's a very clear statement. I don't want you in my life. And that hurts, man.
Yeah, absolutely. She's been very hurt by it. And it's kind of caught her off guard, I believe too.
Sure.
It's kind of...
Any dad that leaves his daughter, that should catch everybody off guard. It's not how it should be.
Yeah.
That's kind of what I've told her. You can only control what you can control. You can't control what he does. But
okay, let me give you some husband advice. I'll turn over to Dave. Don't ever say that to her.
Okay.
Just hold her hand and say, this hurts and I'm sorry.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah.
There you go.
And it's her dad's fault, not her stepmother's fault.
Yeah.
He chose. You can't blame the other person. Talked him into it. He got talked into it. He chose. He made a conscious choice. Now, I assume this is in the state of Virginia.
Yes.
Okay. Different states handle car liens different ways. In our state, the lien has to be actually written on the car title.
Mm-hmm.
Do you guys hold a physical title that has a lien written on it?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. Well, what I would do is contact an attorney and see. It's probably, I'll give you a guess, this is going to cost you $1,000, but it's less than $10,000. And I would see if there's not some sort of motion to be filed before the court that removes this lien. That just says this lien was placed by a father just to control the car after he gave it as a gift. He's disappeared. We can't find him to get the lien released. There was never any financial transfer. It was a control mechanism, and we're asking for the judge to remove the lien. Clean the title. Okay? And I think, I'm almost positive there'll be some sort of legal motion that can be done, and hopefully it's a small claims court thing since it's $10,000, okay? And it's not a super expensive thing, but I would think you're going to spend $1,000 to do that. Your only other option is, if you want to save the $1,000, is go find this guy and show up.
Okay.
And show up. Because y'all kind of know where he is. She's just hurt, but he works for her. She has a business. You know what that is. You can find that business. You can find this Duber. And just show up and go, hey, Duber, you need to release this. You already hurt your daughter. You've crushed her with your abandonment, and you need to sign this. And I'm her husband here telling you, you need to sign this now. And if you don't, I'm going to drag your horrible butt into court and embarrass you. So I'm going to act as the angry husband if I'm you.
Okay.
Don't shoot anybody. That's not what I said. Okay?
Dave, did you hear this guy? He was like, all right. I can do this.
But you don't need to involve her, and this is not about trying to repair their relationship, and this is not, you don't need to take her along.
This is business now.
And this has not got nothing to do with the stepmother. You need a signature from a doofus that should have been a better dad. That's all you need. And I'm going to go save $1,000. I'm going to go drive over there because, dude, you can find him. I promise you. I can tell by the way the story went down. Y'all actually know. You just haven't chased him.
I often tell folks,
because you didn't want to find him.
There's a moment when you stop being my father-in-law and you start being the man who keeps making my wife cry.
Yeah.
And when you switch when that switch flips,
yeah,
now
exactly.
we're having a different conversation. Dave, help me here. I'm ignorant. What does that mean that you can just put a lien on something like that?
Well, I mean, if you have a car
title,
if you have a car title, you can write on there a lien. Just take your car title, flip it over on the back. In most states, there's a place for the lien holder, and that's where the bank writes a lien on there. And then the bank, typically, if you do it with a bank, right, or a car company that has a car payments, they'll hold the title. They keep the title physically. But in this case, Michael has the physical title. It just has written on it. And you can't take it down and transfer it because it has written on it a lien, and that lien has to be released.
Until $10,000. What does that mean?
Well, no, I mean, it's just, he just made up a number and put it on there. The dad did. To control the car. He wanted to make sure the car didn't get sold without his permission. That's what he was doing.
Okay.
And there was no actual transfer of cash here. He didn't loan them $10,000. He gave her a car, and then the stepmother goes, she's just going to go sell it and run off with some boy. And he goes, okay, I'll just put a lien on it.
He put a leash and a dog collar on his daughter.
Exactly.
And said, you tell me thank you for that.
Exactly.
Wow, what a jerk.
And then took off to the mountains. And we're going to go find boy child. This is The Ramsey Show.
Y'all, there's a lot you can't control when it comes to healthcare, but there is something you should check out that can help. Christian Healthcare Ministries. CHM is not insurance. It is budget-friendly, biblically based health cost sharing. That means a community of members helping share the burden of each other's healthcare costs. They help people just like you in all 50 states. So see if CHM could be right for your family. Learn more today at chministries.org/budget.
Thanks for joining us, America. Dr. John Deloney, Ramsey Personality, is my co-host. John, it's been about a year since Own Your Past, Change Your Future hit the shelves.
That's right. Since it was published, I got tons of calls from people asking me for private sessions and could we just talk for an hour or two? And obviously I can't meet one-on-one with every single person. It's not possible. But that's why I wrote Own Your Past, Change Your Future. Think of us sitting across from one another having a conversation. The book offers practical advice and encouragement on topics like relationship, overcoming past hurts, and healing from traumas. And as you read through each section, I'll show you how to learn from what happened in your past so you can go create this new life. And listen, for the first time ever, we're including it in the $10 sale. But you got to hurry. The sale ends in 1 week. Get Own Your Past, Change Your Future today, or any of the Questions for Humans conversation cards. Dave, I just got a note from the guys over in the store. Good grief. Those Questions for Humans cards.
Questions for Human cards sell like crazy.
RamseySolutions.com. Everything's $10, so go for it.
Love it. Check it all out. Melanie is in Los Angeles. Hi, Melanie. Welcome to the Ramsey Show.
Hi. Thank you so much for taking my call.
Sure. What's up?
I've recently entered baby step 4, and I was curious what the most effective way to save the 15% for retirement is when you have irregular independent contractor income. I imagine the simplest way is 15% divided by the 12 months, but some months I make $3,000, some months I make $8,000, and after my 4 walls and saving for taxes, I don't always have that left.
And how are you? You're independent contractor, so you're funding this as just Roth IRAs, right?
Correct, yes.
Okay. You know, you could just set the money aside each month and then do it once a year into the investment.
Okay, and just make sure that.
And then if you're short 1 month, you make it up another month, right?
Okay, yeah. I figured that might be the case. I was curious if there was like a secret way to make it more consistent.
No,
Okay.
there's no secret. It's just if you have to drop into your food budget because you had an automatic draft at 15% of your income,
Right.
then that's not cool.
Yeah, that's not helpful. Right.
Yeah, and your income is volatile enough that you could have that. So, but yeah, you run it on the average, and then just say, on average, each month I need to do this. If I have a $3,000 month, I can't do it, so I got to make it up the other month when I have an $8,000 month.
Okay, and then by the end of the year, it's just about making sure that there's 15% of whatever that ends up being.
Yeah. The
Okay.
problem with that is just the discipline that it requires, the attention to
Right.
detail that it requires.
Yeah.
And so that you just got to guard against getting sloppy. Because I can do details, but I don't try to set up systems that require me to do details. I set up systems that are auto. And this is not auto. So the only way I know how to do this is manually. And what
I figured.
Yeah, what you're talking about. But if you just, but make sure that you set yourself up on a plan that if you're not a detail person, then you got something that's driving you to keep the system in place.
I have to wonder if some of the challenges with the irregular income aren't the same challenges that would make this hard, right? If you are have strong attention to detail when you're getting started, and you are strong focus on your marketing, on your business, the irregularity
might not be there.
Be there. Yeah.
That's a possibility. Yeah, possibility. So if you're doing, let's say you're an industry that is not known for detail. Like if you're an accountant or an engineer, you'd be known for detail. If you were a graphic artist, you might not be known for detail, right? And so if that's what's going on, because
my wife would be much better at putting money aside in a designated account.
She would.
And
She
writing
would
a check
definitely be
December
better.
15th for a year's worth.
Yeah, she'd definitely be better.
I'm going to mail in some Skittles wrappers and hope that they deposit those.
Keep your attention span off of the gummy bears. Yeah, that would be true. All right, Nick is in Grand Rapids, Michigan. Hi, Nick. Welcome to the Ramsey Show.
Hi, thank you for taking my call.
Sure.
My question is what to do with unexpected income, whether to put it on our mortgage or use it for start a bathroom remodel.
Is that the baby step you're in?
Yeah, we are out of debt, have a fully funded emergency fund, and we have a mortgage on our house right now.
Okay, so you're putting 15% of your income away for retirement.
Yes, sir.
Have you got children?
One baby, yep.
Okay, and are you addressing their college in baby step 5?
Yep.
Okay, so you don't need it for either one of 4 or 5. You're down to 6 or a bathroom. Either one is fine.
Right.
Well, how much money are we talking about?
I mean, not a ton. My wife is currently not working because she stayed at home for the first 6 months of our son's life. and it's just $700 a month for babysitting.
Okay, so I would just put that in your budget and then decide what you want to do with it. But then it takes you back to, because baby steps 4, 5, and 6 is when you can do some things like upgrade a bathroom or put it on the mortgage. And either one is fine. You guys just need to be in agreement about what the budget looks like. Because if 100% of the time you get extra money, you never throw it at the mortgage, you always upgrade something, you're never going to pay off the mortgage early. If 100% of the time you throw it at the mortgage early and you don't do any upgrades or any increases of quality of life and lifestyle, that's not sustainable emotionally. You're going to burn up. So, you've got to just find that balance, that ebb and flow in that, the tide goes in, the tide goes out thing, to where you get some of each going on. But $700 is not building a bathroom. So, 10 months from now, you'd have $7,000, and you might talk about doing some kind of bathroom stuff.
I think I saw a stat the other day that the average bathroom remodel is $8 million. Good gosh.
I've told you at least 1,000 times not to exaggerate.
Good grief. I had someone come look at our house, and they were like, yeah, we can knock this out. Here's kind of it's going to be $14 million.
Yeah, they charged you $1 million just to come do that.
Good.
Just to give you the estimate. Yeah.
I don't know what they put under the subfloors and bathrooms, but good.
Gold. That's where you store your gold. Yeah. Open phones at 888-825-5225. Thank you for joining us. Johnny is in Connecticut. Hi, Johnny. Welcome to the Ramsey Show.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Sure. What's up?
So I just bought a house a year ago, and I currently have about $45,000 sitting in an account with a money manager. And I've had my money with him for about 3 years now, and I'm still sitting at my original investment. So I'm wondering how great it's doing in there, and if it'd be better to just put that towards my mortgage.
I always put 100% of non-retirement savings above the emergency fund towards the mortgage.
Right. So you think that it would be better off towards the mortgage?
I always put 100% of non-retirement savings above the emergency fund toward the mortgage until the mortgage is paid off. Because otherwise, let's say you had that invested in mutual funds as an example, okay?
Right.
And you didn't reduce your mortgage. Balance sheet-wise, it's as if you borrowed on your house to invest in mutual funds. And you wouldn't do that.
Mm-hmm.
So pay down the mortgage.
Okay. Yeah, because I do plan on selling the house in about a year and a half. So I figured it'd be better off doing that. And then I'm actually putting more principal down on my house every month than... Yeah.
Let's get your house paid off. I mean, whether it's this one or the next one. When you sell your house, if you paid down the mortgage, they give you a check. It's called equity. Paying down the mortgage is not an expenditure that is lost money. It's laying there. You're banking it in dirt and bricks and mortar.
And also, Dave, isn't there a chance that over the last 3 years with the up and down and the volatility that you could look up and being even would be a pretty good place to be?
Yeah, I don't think your guy's doing a bad job. If he was doing a great job, if you made 20% on your money, I would still tell you, pay down your house. Because all the data points we have that says the shortest distance between where you are and your first $1 to $5 million of net worth is getting your stinking house paid off. And loading 15 to 20% of your income into your retirement. Not playing footsie with some brokerage account. It's just not there. I mean, it's not there. There's no data that says that.
Financial footsie.
That's it. I mean, you can find that on Tic Tac, but you can't find that with real millionaires. This is The Ramsey Show. If you're like most people, your home is your most valuable asset. And when you want to make improvements, it can feel like everything costs too much or takes too long. But something as simple as custom window coverings from Blinds.com can completely change your space and add value to your home. We've recommended Blinds.com for over a decade, so you know you can trust them. From blinds, drapes, and shutters to motorized shades, they make it easy and affordable to upgrade your entire home, and their team is ready to help with everything from design consultation to measuring and installation. Plus, there are never any misleading quotes or hidden fees. Everything's backed by their 100% satisfaction guarantee, and shipping is always free. See why Blinds.com is the #1 online retailer of custom window coverings. Go to Blinds.com now and save 45% off selected products. Visit Blinds.com today for more info. Dr. John Deloney, Ramsey Personality, is my co-host today. Thanks for joining us. Today's question is sponsored by Neighborly, your hub for home services. Spring is here, and it's time to handle those projects that have been on pause. Neighborly's got top quality home service providers like Mr. Handyman, Glass Doctor, Precision Garage Door Service, and Shelf Genie. So find the local help you need at neighborly.com today.
Today's question comes from Catherine in Florida. She writes, I'm a long-time follower of your baby step program, and I enjoy catching up on your radio show on YouTube. That sentence did not exist a few years ago. My question is about how to deal with family members' opinions on living below your means, driving an older car, having older electronics, a small apartment, etc. I lived in a studio apartment while I was in college. After graduation, I landed a great job working at an investment advisory firm and moved into a 2-bedroom apartment with a roommate. We both work remotely and use the second bedroom as an office. Recently, my roommate's aunt stopped by to see the new apartment and commented that it was small. I didn't say anything to her, but inside I felt terrible. A 2-bedroom apartment was an upgrade for me in terms of space, and with the increase in my income and shared expenses, I was spending less money than I was when I was a student. I know we can't control what others say, and they are definitely entitled to their opinions. I also don't want to imply that their aunt is judgmental. Well, she is. I just want to know how I can control that inner voice that felt embarrassed when someone didn't understand why I live the way that I do. Ooh, that's a great question. I find, Dave, when I have not spent some time making sure my values are anchored into an identity, other people can I can try things like a new workout, like a new diet plan or something, and somebody will just casually dismiss it, and it will affect me. But when I have made a choice, I'm a guy who, fill in the blank, takes my kid to Waffle House. Waffle House is probably not the healthiest choice for us, but that's where we go. And I love it, and I won't miss it. And so it doesn't even enter my mind when somebody makes a comment about, oh, that's not healthy. Like, because I'm so anchored into that as a thing, or someone dismisses my faith out of hand. Like, I don't lose a second of sleep over that, because it's an anchor point to me. I've connected my values with my identity. It feels like if you're trying something on, it's a recipe for somebody can speak into it.
Yeah.
But I'm kind of thinking off the top of my head here. So push back if that doesn't sound right.
Godliness with contentment is great gain. And so if you are content, and this is your decision, you have peace sitting in the decision, and that's an identity.
That's a much less nerdy way to say that.
But
I just said.
You're sitting in your identity.
Yeah.
And then, you're okay if, the aunt wants to get her bigger apartment. That's her choice, but this is what I wanted, and it's me. You think, I have a black pickup truck. You think black pickup trucks are ugly? Well, that's okay. I'm really comfortable. I picked that truck. I like it. And so, I don't really give a rip what you think.
The verbiage for me changed back when, and you and I have talked about this quite a bit, with the phrase, you don't get a vote.
Yeah.
And so really sitting down and deciding, being intentional in my life, who are the people who do get a vote?
Yeah.
My wife, a couple of close, it's a very, very small list. when it comes to, I want to challenge your value.
Yeah, I think it comes down to, like you said, how anchored are you in this? Because it's a great discussion. That's why we're having it. But if you're anchored in it and you really believe it, then you wouldn't be embarrassed.
Yeah, if somebody came by and goes, this guy is green, right?
If they're actually right when they bring something up and you're not that anchored in it, then it would throw you off.
Absolutely.
It's like, do you live in a dump? If you do, maybe she's telling you need to upgrade. That may be what's going on. But if you just are completely comfortable with that, I think you're exactly right. It's how far you're anchored into it. I got into this thing this morning. I was at another event, and I was one of the speakers, and I ended up back in the green room with a bunch of these guys that were intellectuals, which is always fun for me because I'm a wiener in a steakhouse. And so this guy is throwing out, this verbiage, and he's like, yes, but what about arbitraging? And if you pay off your 2.5% mortgage and all this? And I finally looked at him, I said, dude, I think you need to keep your mortgage. But you asked me what I thought, and I own several $100 million worth of real estate, debt-free. And when COVID hit, I wasn't worried about payments. So that's how I live. If you don't want to do it, it's okay. But, even though you're a bazillion times smarter than me, I got more real estate than you do.
Ta-da!
It's, and it's all paid for. So,
the real question is, can you kick my...
it's just, it's kind of that, okay. I get it, but did you really think you were going to have a discussion with Dave Ramsey in the green room and talk him into going into debt?
And you were going to sit back and go,
was there any level?
I never thought of it. No way.
Intellectually, I found someone who was smart enough that got me on this.
No way.
After 30 years, you're kidding, and I'm just like, whatever you want to do, dude, it's okay. I'm not mad at you. I love you. You can go get in debt if you want. But as for me and my house, we're pretty anchored in this one. Pretty much an identity thing.
Yeah, so I would go back to Catherine and say, why are you choosing this life?
Yeah.
Well, I want to live below my means. And okay, great. Then other people don't get a vote.
Everything that she said was joyful.
Absolutely.
Until the aunt showed up.
Mm-hmm. That aunt didn't get a vote.
Yeah, and so she didn't get a vote. That's all it is. It's
And that's something you practice. That's easier said than done.
It is. And the other thing is this. It's a perspective thing. It goes with contentment. So the thing I always remember is this. I have the inordinate benefit of having gone completely broke. And once you've gone completely broke, you really don't care what other people think. Because you figure out most of them aren't going to be around anyway.
It's like watching a fighter that's been knocked out. They're a little wilder the next time because that's what happens.
Oh, that's how it works. I didn't die from it.
Now I can be a little bit more relentless.
I'm gonna lean in here, and I love folk, and I want you to win, and I want to help you, but I'm not really taking a poll. Before I make a decision on stuff. I lost what the Bible calls fear of man. I don't need affirmation to make good quality value-based decisions. I make those decisions regardless. And if I get some affirmation, that's wonderful. I'm like anybody else. I like it, but I don't have to have that to do anything. And honestly, when some of you get pissed off, it kind of inspires me. So, it causes me to go to double down, So, and because I found that most of you are that wrong. And so that's why we do this show for 30 years, is to help you, And so, I think there's a lot of that going on in the contentment thing. Contentment is, do I have peace? Am I anchored in this with a part of my identity? And how much affirmation do I need to support my values-based decisions? And the less of that you need, the better financial decisions you're going to make.
All day, every day.
Because most people are broke, and if your broke friends are making fun of your financial plan, you are right on track.
Well, and the better parenting decisions you'll make, I don't want my kid to be the only kid with 3-year-old without their own iPad. Be the only one. I don't want my kid to be the only. You're going to make better parenting, better marriage decisions. You make every decision will be better when you identify who gets a vote and who doesn't, and when you identify that identity and what it's anchored into, man.
Yeah, my kids weren't homeschooled, but I saw this thing the other day that I thought was, in the current world we live in, was pretty funny. The guy's
Oh,
like,
God, get the dump button ready,
yeah,
guys.
really, you ready? One guy's saying to the other, and he goes, your children are not going to be socialized and not going to be like all the other children if you homeschool them. And the guy goes, yep.
You are correct,
Kind of the point. You are correct, sir.
You are correct, sir.
You are correct, sir. Yeah. That'd be, shoo. Yeah. I don't want to be cray-cray. It's a good thing. Yeah.
It's tough out there, man.
Whew. Man, some of y'all people have lost it. I'm just saying. This is the Ramsey Show. Dr. John Deloney, Ramsey Personality, is my co-host today. Travis is with us in Grand Rapids, Michigan. Hi, Travis. Welcome to the Ramsey Show.
Hi, Mr. Ramsey, Dr. John Deloney. It's a pleasure to speak to you both today.
You too. What's up?
My question is how to get out of debt with my current salary as a truck driver, projected to make $80,000 this year.
Okay. How much is your debt?
Total debt is $67,000. $40,000 is student loan debt, and then I have $11,000 balance on a car, and the rest is credit cards.
Okay. You single?
So I've been trying to make I am dating, currently living with my partner, and so that's kind of tricky because when I moved in with her, I was over the road, and now I'm a local driver. So I pay her to help her with the mortgage, but we're not married yet. Planning on engagement soon, so.
Okay, so you are paying part of your roommate's payment as rent.
Essentially, yes.
Yeah, and your rent is how much?
$500 a month.
Okay. All right, so you make $80,000 a year and you have a $500 a month rental. Okay?
Yep.
So what's wrong with getting on a tight budget and beginning to pay these debts down? You should have all kinds of margin in this budget.
Yeah, and I've been trying to see that for myself, like I have in my notes, all my bills and credit cards, how much each monthly payment, the sum of them is for the minimum balance. I've been listening to you guys over the last couple months for the baby steps.
Yeah.
But I just can't seem to get ahead of
you haven't done
what
a budget
I'm doing.
yet. So what is your take-home pay?
About $1,200 a week.
Okay, you get paid once a week?
Correct.
Okay. You sit down and you look at June. How many times are you going to get a paycheck? Let's pretend it's 4. Okay? That would give you $4,800 to work with. Minus $500 for rent. Minus food.
Correct.
Minus some car gas. Minus the minimum payments on all of these bills. And everything else goes towards the stupid credit card until it's gone. And you cut up the credit card.
I've cut 2 of them up since I've started listening to you. I've paid.
I feel like you drove right past all the room that should be in this budget. $4,800 minus $500 minus food. That's a buttload of money left over.
Yeah.
It's about $3,600 or $3,700.
Yeah. How much is the balance on the credit card?
I have 3 of them left. One's $2,150, $600, and $700.
Okay.
So,
you should pay the $600 and $700 off this month and probably the $2,150.
Yep. So you're done with credit cards in 2 months.
1 month. 1 month.
Oh, 1 month. Let's do it.
Okay.
But you're not going out to eat. and you're not going on vacation, and you're not going drinking with your buddies. You got no life.
No.
You're getting ready to clean up your dadgum mess because you want to get married.
Yes.
And it's time to clean up your mess. So what I'm teaching you is what's called a zero-based budget. Your income each month, unique to that month, minus every dollar gets an assignment. Every dollar has a mission. Every dollar has a name beside it before the month begins. Before June gets here next week, you need to have figured out what your income for June is and assign every one of those dollars first to necessities: food, shelter, clothing, transportation, and utilities. So rent, car payment, car gas, food, okay? That's it. And then everything else, dude, we're going at these credit cards like they're the freaking enemy, because they are.
Yeah.
If you had $4,800 minus $500 and you had $2,600 makes you debt free, or I'm sorry, $3,200 makes you debt free, you're debt free of your credit cards in 1 month. You really should be.
Right.
That's how you do it.
Absolutely.
That's how you do it right there. And jump online and pick up or hang on. We'll give you the Every Dollar app, and we'll get you tied into the advanced version of the Every Dollar app, which connects to your bank and helps you run your budget. It's the world's best budgeting app, and it'll help you, but it's giving every dollar a name. That's the point. When you get very detailed, very nuanced, and very careful with your planning each and every single month, and you squeeze every one of these dollars until Benjamin Franklin is squealing, then you are ready to go. And that's what we're doing. And we're not spending money on anything because we're trying to clean this mess up. So realistically, you've got $55,000 in debt. You make $80,000, but you got almost no expenses. You probably could be 100% debt free in a year. Pretty close.
A year. And for everybody listening, don't blow by this, because it's easy to look at him and be like, man, that guy. You can't out-earn your unintentionality, your lack of intentionality. He's making $80,000 a year, and he can't figure out where it's going.
How to pay off a $2,000 credit card.
Can't figure it out. And it's not because he's dumb. It's because it's just chaos. There's too many spinning plates everywhere.
Yep.
And that's what a budget does.
It's all spun up in your brain and in the ether and everything else. And so giving every dollar an assignment, every time you do this, people, those of you that haven't done it, you need to sit down and do it tonight. June's coming next week. You need to sit down and do your dadgum budget, maybe for the first time in your life. Put your income for the month at the top of the page, and then give every dollar an assignment. I will promise you two things will happen. Number one thing will happen is that you will feel like you got a raise, because you will go, where is all this freaking money going? It's going to blow your mind how much you waste. And the second thing that's going to happen is you're going to get a sense of peace instead of a sense of anxiety. Even though you've actually done nothing with money yet, now you've actually executed a plan that says, if I take these 17 steps, I'm going to be free. And as soon as you see the steps in front of you and you realize they're doable, your anxiety goes down, your stress level goes down, your peace level goes up, and you kind of just slick your hair back and go, okay, let's get about the business of doing this.
Let's go. Yeah.
Game on. And people lean into it, and it changes everything. Timothy is in Chicago. Hi, Timothy. Welcome to the Ramsey Show.
Thank you, sir. It's a pleasure to be on your show today.
Honored to have you. What's up?
My wife and I are wondering if we should use a portion of our emergency fund to pay our mortgage off.
How much is in your emergency fund?
Currently, we are at $46,500.
Okay.
And we owe 30, all intents and purposes, 34.
Okay. And you don't have any other money to put into this equation, so you would drain your $46,500 by 34.
Yes, sir.
What's your household income?
Base salaries, we're looking at $136.
No, I didn't ask. I asked what your household income is.
Oh, my goodness. Between mine and my wife's, we're looking at 100, like I said, 136.
Oh, okay. That's what I was after. Yeah, good.
Yeah.
All right. And so here's the thing. Paying off a house is a really good thing. And we really tell everybody to do it. It's not an emergency. So if you go below 3 to 6 months, if you go below 3 months of expenses in order to do this, you cut too deep. And it kind of feels like you are.
Okay.
What do you think? What's
Okay.
3 months of expenses?
3 months of expenses, believe we're looking at 19,000.
All right, let's call it 20, which means you have 26.5 to throw at your 34.
Okay.
Did I get that right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And then in the next by Christmas, you just cash flow the rest of it and knock it out.
Okay. Now, my wife will be getting bonuses throughout the next several months, which will be paying down the mortgage further.
Yeah.
Given that happening,
yeah,
we're looking at August.
Okay.
Done.
Now,
Yeah.
the question... Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Then do it. Yeah.
Done.
Absolutely. Go that route. That's what I would do. Yeah, that's the whole idea. So by Christmas, we're rebuilding the emergency fund maybe from 3 months up to 6 months, which you don't need more than 40.
Well, that's by August. I mean, that's if he pays this thing off in August with some bonuses.
Well, then they got to rebuild it
Right.
up from
Yeah.
20 up to 40.
Oh, by Christmas.
But
Gotcha.
no more than 40 in your emergency fund. You don't need 46 in your emergency fund. If 20 represents 3 months, 40 represents 6 months, 6 months is enough. Then move on to your other steps. This is The Ramsey Show.
Hey, it's Dr. John Deloney. If you love the show and want a deeper dive on your money journey, we have a weekly newsletter that gives you trending and helpful articles and tips on following the Ramsey way. Just go to RamseySolutions.com today to sign up for our newsletter. Again, that's RamseySolutions.com to sign up for our weekly newsletter.
Live from the headquarters of Ramsey Solutions, broadcasting from the Pods Moving and Storage Studios. It's The Ramsey Show, where we help people build wealth, do work that they love, and create actual amazing relationships. Dr. John Deloney, Ramsey Personality, is my co-host today. Thank you for joining us. Open phones at 888-825-5225. Kim is going to start off this particular hour. She's in San Francisco. Hi, Kim. How are you?
Great. Thank you for taking my call.
Sure. What's up?
I need you to give me some advice on how to get my foster child to make better financial decisions.
What's going on?
He was given a scholarship, and on April 14th, he had about $2,600 that we put in a college savings account, or I guess it's a checking savings account. I had to leave town for a little bit, and then he figured out, he didn't have the card, but he figured out how to use the pay on your phone app, and I just saw it vanishing before my eyes, and it's down to about $1,000 now since April 14th. And I've had multiple conversations with him about budgeting, and but I think he's just impulsive due to his history.
Yeah,
How old is he?
17 and a half.
How long's he been with you?
Since April.
Okay. Well, you don't really get to play the mom card when you've been with them since April.
Right.
In other words, it's tougher. This is with a 17-year-old especially. I would think you're in the persuasion business. And how do we, help a young man who has presumably been in several different houses over his life, have a sense of foundation and a sense of vision for his life that makes him think longer than Friday and plan longer than Friday, which is what you're trying to get him to do. And so I think it's more about having a vision for your life, which you had for him more than he had for him.
What's he spending this money on?
A lot of food. He bought a model the other day, just kind of silly things. And he even came in a few days ago and said that he looked back on, he can see everything as well in the bank account, and said, I kind of wish I hadn't bought all that stupid stuff, is the exact words that he used. And then I was able to have a conversation with him, but he just still can't help himself in the moment.
do you have the ability to restrict access to these funds?
I'm not sure. I was thinking of that myself, but I was hoping that, maybe having a conversation with him. Well, another one.
It's a common trajectory for kids who are aging out of the foster care system is a almost obsessive need for autonomy because they've never had it. And so suddenly this kid who's just inches away from being 18 has an account with a couple of $1,000 in it. I'm not going to begrudge. I completely understand where his sweet brain is going, which is I can finally eat where I want to eat. I can finally buy a thing that I want to buy. And Dave was right. I'm asking if you can restrict it, but that's not something you do just behind his back. That might be a conversation you'll have sitting down together with him.
I think I would sit down with him and say, listen, we love you and we're worried about you. Would you like us to put the money in our name to protect you from you?
Yes.
And then we're gonna decide together what's good for you for your future. We don't want your money, but would you like us to control it to protect you from you so that you can get the best use of this going forward in your life? And we'd be willing to take that role, but you have to volunteer it to us. We're not going to force it on you.
Oh, that's a great idea.
It might be worth painting a picture of what he felt like when he was 16 and had no money in the bank and was somewhat on his own without somebody who cared for him like you do. And say, hey, you're about 4 months away from that picture being true again. Let's don't do that.
Yeah, you don't want to be aging out and broke.
Exactly. Yeah, I really like that idea. Thank you so much.
Yeah. But again, then it's incumbent upon you to what legal scholars would call be a fiduciary, meaning you are doing nothing with this money except what is really his best interest, and that might even include something you don't totally like, but it's for his best interest. And at some point, it may even be that you just turn the money over to him and go, I can't do this anymore. Because if he's continually trying to get you to do negative things, and, all you are is just becoming a bad guy at that point, you don't want to stay in that seat either.
Exactly.
So this doesn't have to be forever, and it doesn't have to be for long. But you told me this is stupid stuff. Would you like to put together a plan with me where we don't do stupid stuff? Because I'm really worried about you aging out of the system and not having a plan and not having this money to do something with. And I really want to help you do that and move you towards some kind of, post-high school education ideas, to getting a certification on coding over at the code school, or get a heating and air certification to learn how to be a tech, or whatever it is he's going to do with his life, or maybe he's going to go to college. I don't know. But whatever it is, this money can move. There's a little bit of it left. And by the way, it was a scholarship for education, not for models and food.
Another really valuable tool that a parent can use is really what Dave and I do, and all my personality colleagues do, which is provide a picture from our own life. So there may be a moment when you needed somebody to step in and help you, or you had to put some hurdles in front of you between you and a behavior. Man, that'd be a great moment to be vulnerable and say, hey, this has happened to me. It's like I've said on this show, there was a season when I gave my debit card to my wife because I simply did not control my spending. So I needed to start from ground zero. I just gave it away. I took my ability to do that away. And it's a story like that you can share with him about your own life that may provide him an empathetic path back to you relationally. Maybe Dave, I love that idea. And I wouldn't have thought of that, but that's really wise. You're in the influencer role. You are not in the you do what I say role. You can play that game and you got about 6 months on it. He turns 18 and you will never see that kid again.
Yeah. It's a persuasion. Let's create a vision for your life.
Yeah, I love you.
Where there's no vision, the people perish. Kim, you're a hero. Thanks for stepping in for a kid in the last stages of the foster system. Man, that's a big, big deal right there. You're amazing. Thank you for doing that. This is The Ramsey Show. Hey folks, you know that sinking feeling when you make an offer on a house you love and then you hear there's another offer? You need the Churchill Mortgage Home Buyer Edge. Super fast pre-approval and a secured interest rate. Plus a $5,000 seller guarantee gives your offer the best chance of being accepted. The Home Buyer Edge from Churchill gives you an advantage over those other guys. Go to churchillmortgage.com today to learn more. Dr. John Deloney, Ramsey Personality, is my co-host today. He does a show called The Dr. John Deloney Show that is a very popular Ramsey Networks podcast, and you should tune into it. It's all about relationships and boundaries, and Dr. John has a PhD in higher education and also a PhD in counseling, and so anytime those two intersect, we really get into a great discussion, and he sent me an article this morning and said, let's talk about this here on the air.
So, hat tip to the guys at Marginal Revolution. I love those guys. So it's a paper from the National Bureau of Economic Research. Dinerstein and Yanellis and Chen. Here's the study. So most people don't know this, but when it comes to student loans, we'll distill it down, but there's two different paths a college can take.
Let's just, as I was saying, this is a white paper.
A white paper, yeah, there you go.
This is not an article on Yahoo Finance by some Yahoo.
Yeah, this is a research paper.
This is actually a research paper by a nerd, by Egghead.
Several of my nerd friends.
Several of your nerd friends.
Yes.
Okay.
So there's two separate paths. One of the paths is the government makes the loans, and the other is the bank makes the loans and the government guarantees them. For the average borrower, you're never going to know which one of these paths your college took. But when Biden, I think it was Biden, maybe been Trump, did the first pause on student loan repayment, it instantly created a pretty cool study that could be done, because you had a group of people. Biden couldn't pause the bank loans because he didn't have the authority, because it was the banks that made the loans, but he could pause the loans that the government made. And so these researchers came in and said, what actually happened there? And Dave, I was sending emails to Dave this morning as I was going through the math on this thing. At the end of the day, they found that the payment pause helped for about 30 seconds. And the people who had to keep making their loan payments did not have any increase in defaults. They didn't have any increase in their life falling apart. The words I kept coming to is they figured it out. Conversely, those that were beneficiary of the pause ended with more debt than they started with. And I just have to keep reading that and reading that and reading that, because Dave, I remember Twitter tried to set you on fire when you said that $1,300 isn't going to change your life. It's not. Or $600 isn't going to change your life. And what they're saying is actually that pause made it worse. People took the money that was in cash that they weren't sending to student loans, and they went and put it on down payments for more debt. So it looked like a great political move. It helped for a few months, and then it got bad.
So everyone's life is going to fall apart because of COVID, and you cannot afford to pay your student loans. So we, the government, are here to help you. We're going to put your student loans on pause. The net result is that people took that pause and used it to go further into debt, proving that they were not in much trouble to start with.
Or that they had the capacity now to get in even more trouble.
Exactly. Here's the note from the actual white paper. Comparing borrowers whose loans were frozen with borrowers whose loans were not frozen due to differences in whether the government owned the loans, we show that borrowers use the new liquidity to increase borrowing on credit cards, mortgages, and auto loans rather than to avoid delinquencies. So the narrative was, we are here to help you poor people who have had your lives destroyed by COVID, and you're not going to have to make your payments because we know you're starving to death. And everyone said, hold my beer, I'm going to go buy a car.
Sweet, now I can get a car.
Sweet, now I can get a car. That's exactly what the net result of this is.
Here's the line. By the end of the sample period, student debt borrowers have about 5% more household debt
than the ones that did not get the government help of the pause.
Perhaps paradoxically, temporary student debt relief leads to higher overall household debt levels and larger future debt burdens.
This is good news for debt pauses as stimulus payments, but bad news if you think that debt pauses are just the nudge people need to get their financial house in order. None of them did, statistically.
Wow.
They went further in the hole. So, once again, your government interferes in the economy, and once again, they screwed it up.
Well, I think this is a good moment for me to say I was wrong. Because I remember when you said it's not going to help save your life, and I thought to myself, I think it will. I think it'll make a huge difference. And Dave, in front of America,
glad you kept that to yourself.
I did. I would
have made fun of you.
I was a new employee here, but I think it's fair to say I was wrong, man.
Well, I mean, the point is,
it didn't work.
The point is not a philosophical let them eat cake statement. When you say $1,300 doesn't change your life. But really, I mean, if you are at the poverty level, $15,000 a year, $1,300 is not even 10% of your income. So mathematically, the arithmetic says $1,300, if it changes your life, you really have already a major screwed up life long before COVID came along.
Yeah.
And it doesn't fix it.
Yeah, you got some pretty dark challenges.
It is one more time the government saying they are doing something, and that was a different thing. That was a Biden bucks.
Okay.
It was 1,300 that set Dave Ramsey's on fire all over, effigies all over Reddit and everywhere else. And poor, Dave Ramsey's just one of those people that doesn't have any compassion and whatever. Oh crap! It's just an obvious. It's an observation of the obvious. I had a college professor that told me one time, he said, Mr. Ramsey, you have a firm grasp on the obvious. Little did he know I was going to make a living doing that. But yeah, so there you go. I do have a firm grasp on the obvious.
The meta I took away from this nerd paper, and this just for y'all listening, these kind of nerd papers make my heart beat a little bit faster. I love them. I think this lesson is applicable to my marriage. It's applicable to raising kids. It's applicable to being a good neighbor. It's applicable to my finances. There is no such thing as I'll deal with it later. That doesn't exist. It's a false premise that I can kick a can down a road on any issue in my life. Pain deferred is pain amplified, man. And the more we kick stuff down the road, the bigger mess we are making. And I think it's an ethical issue when we are, A, knowingly putting hurting people into more pain down the road, or B, we are making our grandkids that we've never met yet have to deal with this chaos, man. It's just unethical. It's evil.
Debt ceiling raise.
It's evil.
Here we go again. They're going to do it again. Let's just go further in debt. Because none of those people voting on it are ever going to pay any of it. Because they're going to be dead.
Zero.
They're going to be dead. Most of them are almost dead now. They're so old. But yeah, unbelievable. But yeah, it's crazy. So yeah, it is unethical. And the thing though, Dr. Les Parrott, our friend, we've spoken with him a bunch of times. He's been on Smart Conference a bunch of times, and he always says, these negative emotions, these negative situations, whatever they are, whether they're mathematical, whether they're relational, whether it's a career decision, you kick the can down the road. This stuff has, his famous phrase is, it has a high rate of resurrection.
It will be back.
I will be back. Yeah, I'm coming back. And so, don't let the sun go down on your anger. Sit down with your spouse and get this straightened out. It will be back. You can't sweep it on the rug. It's not going to go away. It just gets bigger and bigger and bigger. That splinter, if you don't pull it, will fester, and gangrene will set in. We'll have to amputate your whole arm because you wouldn't pull this one little sliver of wood out of your finger.
Or something scary, your job is taken away from you overnight. Tomorrow morning at 6 a.m., you got to be on the phone finding something else to do. You got to be on that computer finding another work. You got to figure it out. And I hate saying that because it sounds so callous, but it's me trying to tell you I love you, and I think you can figure it out.
Well, step straight into the difficult things.
Go run into the storm.
Do hard things.
Yes.
Michael Easter, Comfort Crisis. Do hard things. Step straight into them. It changes your brain chemistry.
Yeah, and what Michael would say, which I think is so true, is if you do hard things on the regular as a part of your life, if you're constantly not running away from a conversation you'd have with your wife, but you're leaning into it, if you're constantly stepping into challenging moments with your kids, constantly like doing things like exercising and not going for that extra dessert, when something like this hits, your brain and body are ready to run into the storm. You've been training them, right? When you just take the stairs, right? You're training your body and your mind over time so that when hard things hit, bring it on. Let's go do this.
Yeah, that's exactly right. But if you've been avoiding everything else and you get the opportunity to avoid this, I'll kick this can down the road. See, those of you that are kicking your student loan can down the road right now and you're not dealing with it, we're talking to you for the last 5 minutes.
It is coming for you.
This is not good for you. It's not good for you. We've been saying this. A, you owe the money, and B, it's not going away until you pay it. This is The Ramsey Show. We've been doing business at Ramsey for more than 30 years. By now, we're a well-oiled machine, but it wasn't always that way. Yes, we've always had a vision, always had determination, and a drive to help people. But what we didn't have was one central place to access all our numbers so that we could get further ahead or quickly see when we needed to pivot. We were always jumping back and forth between different systems and spreadsheets. So when NetSuite by Oracle helped us wrangle our revenue, inventory, expenses, and more into one place, it was a game changer. And NetSuite's #1 cloud financial system can help your business gain the same visibility because businesses thrive on timely data. And NetSuite's real-time analytics can help your business have immediate access to your numbers daily so you always know where you stand and you can move quickly. So go to netsuite.com/Ramsey today and set up a free product tour. That's netsuite.com/Ramsey. Dr. John Deloney, Ramsey Personality, is my co-host today. If you're out running around America and you happen to be coming through Nashville, we're in Franklin, just south of Nashville. Our visitor center is a huge lobby, and our radio show, YouTube show, podcast thing that we do, whatever we call this, TBN show, is on the glass. And we do the show live every Monday through Friday from 1 to 4 Central Time. The cookies are homemade. The coffee is amazing, and it's all completely free. Come visit us and drop by and watch the show anytime you'd like. We'd love to have you. One of the features in the lobby is the debt-free stage, where people come from all over America to tell us their story and do their debt-free scream. Kevin is on the debt-free stage. Hey, Kevin, what's up?
I'm doing great, Dave. How are you?
Better than I deserve, man. Where do you live?
I live in Spencer, Indiana.
Which is near?
About an hour south of Indianapolis.
Okay. We'll call it Indy. All right, cool. Well, good to have you, man.
You're one of the last guys left wearing cargo shorts.
Yep.
I'm proud of you. My wife took all mine away, so hang on to those things,
Thank
man.
you.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Welcome. So how much debt have you paid off?
I've paid off $85,000.
All right. Good for you. And how long did this take you?
About 34 months from the time I took on the mortgage.
Good for you. Oh, it's a mortgage?
Yeah.
Whoa. All right. So you paid off your house?
Yes.
You're 100% debt-free?
Yep.
Looking at weird people. Way to go, man.
I'm 26.
Way to go.
You have a
paid
paid-off house at 26?
Yes.
Yeah. What's the house worth?
It's worth about $160 to $180.
I love it. Congratulations.
Thank you.
And what was your range of income during that 3 years?
Starting out, it was about 25, but it went up to 50.
Cool. What do you do for a living?
I'm an elementary school teacher, and I work part-time at Walmart.
Awesome. Good for you. Okay, so you're 26 years old. You owe $85,000 on a house that's worth double that, roughly. And you looked up and said, I'm going to pay this off in 34 months. What made you do that?
Well, I took your class back when I was in high school. I was about 17 years old. I want to shout out Owen Valley High School and my teacher, Mrs. Nichols, for carrying your program and teaching it.
Way to go, Mrs. Nichols. Foundation in Personal Finance from Ramsey rocks.
Yes,
Way
absolutely.
to go. I'm proud of you. Cool.
Right from when I took that class, I started saving up my money, working at Pizza Hut, and graduated college debt-free. And from then on, it was just saving money to eventually pay off a house. Wow. So I could say that it took 34 months, but really this has been in the works since I was about 17 years old.
10 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, sort of. I mean, you had the knowledge, but you really weren't actioning on it because you didn't have the house then. So, yeah. Man, you come out of
Do you
school.
understand how weird you are?
How wonderfully weird you are. Yeah, that's
You're
so
a teacher. Awesome.
Yeah.
Cargo shorts. Awesome. Yep. You own your house outright at 26.
Awesome.
You know what I knew when I was 20? I didn't know what day it was when I was 26.
Way
you
to
own a
go,
house.
man.
Yeah.
Way to go.
Jeez.
So fun. So fun. So how much support did you get cheering you on versus how much people told you were nuts?
Well, I had a lot of support from my family. My mom and my dad were always there when I was making big career choices or money moves. And just walking with God daily was an important part of the whole process. So without him, glory to him because I couldn't have done it without him.
Amen.
So $84,000. What kicked it off for you? What'd you say? All right, I'm going to hit the gas on this thing.
Well, by the time that I actually stumbled upon this house, and it was just a blessing how it landed on my lap, I already had about 20 grand saved up because I was saving for a down payment. So really, I only had another 65,000 to go. So I was like, I just want to get this taken care of. You know, one day when I have a family and kids, I want to be able to provide for them and not have a mortgage be a problem for me. So
absolutely. Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
All right. Wow. So I got to let our education team know that this is the impact this is having on a high school student 10 years later. They'll be so blown away. This is such good work they're doing.
Absolutely.
And what do you tell people the key to getting out of debt is? You have a paid-for house at 26 years old.
I think one of the biggest things to be able to tell yourself is just tell yourself no. When you need to, because I drove a 30-year-old car the whole time I was getting out of debt.
What kind of car?
It was a 1992 Geo Prism.
Oh, God, what a piece of crap.
That's number 4, weird. Keep going.
Man.
And you want to get a new car, but you got to tell yourself no, you got to stick to your goal. And I lived with my parents through college to save money. So you want to move out, but you got to tell yourself no, not yet. And when I was in college, actually, I was at Indiana University. I lost my scholarship. And so that was the hardest no I had to tell myself was leaving there. And I had to take a year off, and I worked, and I went back to school online and got my degree in elementary ed much cheaper. So I kind of missed out on the college experience, but I also missed out on the experience of being in 40 grand in student debt.
Well, everybody listening to this, send this to your local congressman.
Yeah, for real.
Because 26-year-old Kevin has a thing or two, some wisdom about how the world works.
Yeah. Pretty amazing.
Golly, you're incredible.
Well done.
Incredible.
Well done, sir.
Hey, and let me tell you, I got a 7-year-old little girl. She's a first grader going to second grade. I would just about bend the earth sideways for a teacher like you to be in front of my kids. So on behalf of all of us who have elementary school kids, thank you for being a teacher at elementary school, and thank you for being the kind of caliber person that I want in front of my kid, right? That's incredible, man.
Yeah.
That's so incredible.
Thank you.
Beautiful stuff. Beautiful stuff.
And now when your principal says, you guys are going to do, and you can go, no, I'm not. I'm not doing that.
Wait a minute. No, I'm not. I don't do that.
I don't have any bills, so I'm just going to go back to my classroom and teach my kids because I love them.
Absolutely.
That's incredible.
Very cool. Very well done. Good job, Kevin. Hey, we've got the Baby Steps Millionaires book for you, the Total Money Makeover book, and a Financial Peace University membership as well. That's the Live and Give box. So live some of it if you want to live some of it. Give some of it if you want to give some of it. It's all there for you to say thank you for coming down here to do your debt-free scream and to say congratulations. I got to tell you, we're proud of you, man.
Awesome.
Well
Thank
done.
you.
Very, very well done. Good stuff. Very cool. All right, it's Kevin from Indianapolis, or just an hour south. 85,000 paid off, house and everything at 26 years old. Did that in 34 months as an elementary ed student, as an elementary ed teacher. 25,000 to 50,000 income. Count it down. Let's hear a debt-free scream.
3, 2, 1. I'm debt-free.
Yeah.
Kevin.
Yep, that's it. That's how we do that.
I'm also going to encourage Kelly to put this call in my show notes when people call and say there's just no good guys left and there's no good guys making decisions. I know of one just south of Indianapolis is making good choices out there on the market.
Absolutely. Definitely.
Man.
You're pretty eligible. Cargo shorts or not, you're pretty eligible for your house.
Hey, my wife married me with cargo shorts. You stay strong, Kevin. Stay strong.
I love it.
Man.
That's fun.
What an absolute...
What a hero.
Jeez.
That's so fun. And here's the thing. Okay, you guys got to... Let's dial back through that story for just a minute, because at some point, possibly all the way back in high school, he took debt off the table.
It's not a thing.
I lost my scholarship. I can't go to school here.
Yeah. I got to figure it out.
I drive a piece of crap car. So what? I'm going to drive like no one else. So later I can drive like no one else. Because you know what you can do if you make $50,000 a year and you don't have a stinking payment in the world, not even a house payment? Anything you want to do? You got nothing but cash flow. And you want to buy a better car? I mean, he could buy that car 3 times a month now. You know? Is that, you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
That mathematically, that's where he's obviously not going to do that. But I mean, moving up in car, my point, is not a big deal. And he's 26. He's got the whole rest of his life to become very, very wealthy, outrageously generous, and continue to live out God's will for him. I mean, he's obviously walking with the Lord and saying, okay, God, what do you want me to do now? I have no masters in my life but Jesus. The borrower is slave to the lender. How many masters do you have?
It's an unstoppable person.
He's unstoppable. He's a hero. This is The Ramsey Show. Dr. John Deloney, Ramsey Personality, is my co-host today. Thank you for joining us. You can do the offense, get out of debt. You can do the offense, invest. You can do the offense, but you got to do the defense too. And the defense is protecting your money and your assets with good insurance. There are 10 kinds of insurance coverage that you might need based on what your life looks like. And we built a tool called the Coverage Checkup to show you which types you need to add, drop, or adjust. We'll even rank your coverage list by importance. So check it out, RamseySolutions.com/checkup. It is a free tool. Takes about 5 or 10 minutes, and you will know exactly what kind of coverages you don't need and do need, and what your order of attack is, and even some suggestions, all completely free. It's RamseySolutions.com/checkup. Art is in Pittsburgh. Hey, Art, welcome to the Ramsey Show.
Hey, Dave, John, I'm going to get right to my question, but first I do need to mention I am wearing cargo shorts right now.
Yeah, baby. Good for you.
We got a club going here.
Hey, if anybody's wants to get rid of their cargo shorts, send them to me. I would love some new ones.
Yeah, you got to get past Sheila. But yeah, okay. Go ahead, Art.
Okay,
What's up?
So I am poised to retire with a lot more money than I've been expecting to. And I had a whole plan worked out, and I'm feeling intimidated by that, and I want to know what to do with it.
What caused the spike?
My partner and I have been in business. We in the group health insurance business, and for about 20 years, and then we took on a partner, and I hate the word synergy, but there's a synergy, and from 2019 when we did the merge till now, we have quadrupled in size. And what was always a good, successful, comfortable business is now a thriving business that's gotten the attention of investors.
And they're going to buy you out for retirement.
Yeah. Exactly.
So your original plan was to get how much out of the business, and how much do you get out now?
My original plan was to retire with between $2 and $4 million, which is comfortable, very comfortable. But now it's looking to be 15 plus.
Okay.
Congratulations,
very cool. All right.
Oh, thank you.
It is intimidating, and the pressure is I'm driving a car that is more powerful than any car I've ever driven, and I'm afraid it's going to get out from under me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And then I've got kids and grandchildren now, and now I feel more of a responsibility. Okay, I don't want to squander this.
Yeah. Well, I don't think you're going to squander it, number one. But the principles that keep you from squandering it are still the same as they were when you had $4 million. And let's review those, okay? Number one, you do not invest in anything ever that you do not understand. So if something sounds fancy pants and the guy or gal pitching it is really, really smart, and you understand about 3/4 of it, and you're a little bit intimidated and kind of think you're too dumb to be doing this, but you think this is a smart person, I'm going to go ahead, that's right when you get ready to lose your money.
Gotcha.
You invest in stuff you understand. And if that dumbs down the investments, so what? No big deal. And you know it's incumbent upon you to manage a $15 million portfolio for the good of your family, for the good of the Lord. And to manage it, you would have to continually learn more in the next 5 years than you know today about investments, but you don't have to get a PhD in finance, but you need to probably always be, next year you need to know more than you knew this year, and the next year more than you knew that year, and so on. So let's all be doing that. So thing number one is don't put money in things you don't understand. Thing number two is all of your financial people, whether they're estate planning, insurance, investment brokers, real estate, all have to have the heart of a teacher, not the heart of a salesman. And some of them in every category have the heart of a salesman. They are impressed with their own voice. They love the sound of their own voice instead of teaching you. And again, that goes back to number one, where you can't put money in something you don't understand. Take your time, go easy. And the last principle is, I have met with thousands and thousands and thousands of people in 30 years that have a net worth of $1 million to $1 billion. And anybody under $50 million in net worth, they all are really pretty boring with their investments. They don't do a bunch of fancy pants stuff. They're not trying to get on the edge of something. They're not trying to get out ahead of something. And so they never do stuff like crypto, ever, in that kind of a thing. They never do stuff that is edgy or questionable or high risk. They put money in things they understand. Now, it might be things other people don't understand. Like, I know one guy who actually has about $6 million of collectible automobiles. And normally collectible automobiles would not be a category I would tell people to put money in. But he is one of the world's premier experts in collectible automobiles. So not only is it a great hobby, not only does he personally love it, his knowledge base in it makes this an excellent thing for him to invest in, because that's his deal. You know what I'm saying? But it's pretty boring. He doesn't do a bunch of other stuff. He does that. That's about it, you know? And so this idea that you have to somehow be involved in something that's way more sophisticated than you are is a death trap. Don't fall for it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes perfect sense. Gives me some ideas, actually.
Okay.
So, hey, Art, let me ask you this, Art. I don't have $15 million. Don't even have close to that. But I grew up with very, very little, and money in my house was war, right? It was a scary thing. And then as I moved up and got new jobs and was successful in those places, and then as I've worked here, and Dave takes care of us pretty well, I have found myself looking at quote unquote those people and realizing, oh, I'm one of those people now. And I didn't have a psychology for it. Does that ring a bell with you or no?
Yeah, it does to a certain extent. I mean, I've been doing the steps for, my wife and I since, we've been debt free since 2010. And and she's a professor, and so we're both professionals. We've always made good money. And I was on this trajectory to be, that person. Basically when you talk about the millionaires between, I was that person. And now this is hitting. So, yeah, no, that does hit. And also, she doesn't come from money, and neither do I. I mean, I come from a middle-class, upper-middle-class family.
If you told me it went to $100 million, I would say it changes the dynamic. But the dynamic between $4 million and $15 million, it doesn't change at all.
Not that big a difference. Okay, it's in my brain.
Just do exactly what you were going to do with a little more money.
Dave, can you tell him? Okay. Dave taught me this thing privately about ratios. And that's been a game changer for me.
Well, yeah, it sets you free. I mean, you're going to be able to do some stuff with generosity that's going to shock your emotional system, and you're going to be able to do some stuff, buy a nice whatever for somebody in your family or for you or for your wife or whatever. Go on this trip that's ridiculous. Like I know a guy that just spent $260,000 on a trip.
Wow, that's awesome.
And I was just I'm kind of like, oh, you did what? And it's $250,000. And he's like, yeah, well, I mean, he's got $100 million, so it's not.
Yeah, heck of a trip.
It's not really a thing, that's the ratios. I mean, it's for most people, him doing that's like buying a biscuit, ratio wise. I mean, it's like other people buying a biscuit, So if you can afford to go to Cracker Barrel, he can afford to do that trip.
And so maybe in your head, you were going to give your kids. Your grandkid, you're going to put $5,000 in a fund for their college. Well, now that you look at the ratio, you might be able to pay for all their college and put that in a fund, right? Yeah. So it just the numbers get bigger, but the ratios stay the same, and that's been a game changer for me.
And any weaknesses that there were in relationships or in character of individuals that are arm's length, kids, parents, it's gonna get expanded. People that are crazy with this, when this kind of money comes in contact with them, they get real crazy. People that are generous and this kind of money comes in contact with them, they get real generous. It magnifies all the stuff in your family, so be ready for that. This is The Ramsey Show.
Hey, it's Dr. John Deloney. If you like what you heard in this episode and want to know more about getting started on the Ramsey baby steps, go to RamseySolutions.com and click on the Get Started button. We'll help you figure out the best next step for you based on your specific situation. That's RamseySolutions.com and click Get Started.
Live from the headquarters of Ramsey Solutions, broadcasting from the Pods Moving and Storage Studios. It's The Ramsey Show, where we help people build wealth, do work that they love, and create actual amazing relationships. Dr. John Deloney, Ramsey Personality, is my co-host today. He is the #1 best-selling book of Own Your Past, Change Your Future, and also the host of the Dr. John Deloney Show on the Ramsey Network. It's a very popular podcast. We're talking about your life and your money. The phone number, 888-825-5225. Rebecca is with us in Louisville. Hi, Rebecca. Welcome to the Ramsey Show.
Hi, Dave. How are you?
Great. What's up?
I really, really would love your advice. My husband, I recently just found out that he committed what you call financial infidelity, and I don't know, honestly, what to do at this point.
Okay, so he's been lying to you about money.
About what? Yes, because he didn't tell me that he was spending it.
Okay. What did he spend it on? And what? How much?
He spent about $2,000 on his credit card for like just stupid stuff like sports equipment, hunting equipment, and like golf clubs.
Okay.
And it's a big deal because we're on baby step number 2, and we're trying very hard to get out of debt right now. And we just paid off his credit card this month, and I just can't believe that he just did that. And I never would have found out if I hadn't gone and checked the Amazon receipts.
Do those receipts match up?
You didn't notice golf clubs in the house?
Well, that was how I found out. I came home from work and I saw a huge box, and I saw that there was golf clubs in the box, and then I was like,
so
what
he's
the
not
heck is
really
this?
good at lying.
No, he's not.
And listen, when you're saying that we are working so hard to get out of debt, you're not accurate. You are. He is not. He is living his best life.
I know. I stick to the budget, and we're going through Financial Peace University. We got married 6 months ago, and that was when we really found Dave, like your book, Total Money Makeover. And I read it in like a day, and he's still halfway through the book. And we watched Financial Peace University, and he tries to fast forward through half of it. And I mean, your name unfortunately is now a cuss word in our house, and I never meant for that to happen. So I'm sorry.
Oh, hey, Dave can handle it. Let's get beneath that. There's other things that have happened in this last 6 months that are tearing you up. What else?
I just feel like he is like I just feel like the trust has been broken, and I feel like he's really angry and going through something. And whenever I try to talk to him about it, like he gets angry again and defensive, and it just usually ends up in him yelling and huffing and puffing. And I don't know. Like I mean, most of the time we're really good, except like whenever he just gets mad. And I don't know if it's the shame, because all the debt is from him.
I think it's I'm confident there's shame there, but there's something different, and that is he didn't fully understand how much his life would change when his world went from all about whatever he wants whenever he wants it to building a new life with somebody else that we are going to both sacrifice for. And this is called being an adult. It's called being a grown-up. It's called having character. He doesn't have that. He's a child trapped in a man's body. They got a credit card that can just buy whatever he wants. And he can keep his wife happy by letting her run around with her little plan while he goes and buys whatever he wants.
Yeah. I asked him why he did it, and he said because he felt like he deserved it.
There you go. That's the child's entitlement. And so the challenge I hear folks make at this stage is you want to make it about the money. And I want you to hear me say there are bigger fractures in the foundation of your marriage that need to be addressed.
You think I can save it?
100%. I have not a doubt in my mind.
No, I don't think you can.
Y'all can.
But I think he can and you can together.
Yeah, y'all can. Yeah.
But you can't. You've been trying to fix everything by yourself so far. Money,
He
him.
said no to the counseling, couple counseling. I've asked him before in the past. And
Then go without him.
Go without him.
Go without him. I'm going to counseling to figure out if this marriage can be saved. I wish you would go with me. But if you won't, I'm going anyway. And then your counselor will give you words and help you work through the decisions of whether this makes it or not. But you cannot, by yourself, make a marriage. Thus the definition of a marriage. Right?
I want you to remember
we're
this.
on the same page.
I want you to remember this
You're not
line.
on the same page on anything.
Yeah, nothing, yeah. Behavior is a language. And if you say what Dave said verbatim, I'm going to see if our marriage can be saved.
I hope you'll go with me.
I hope you'll go with me. And he goes, nah, I'm going golfing. Behavior is a language. He is telling you loud and clear what he thinks.
He's done. That's what that means. No, but go anyway. Go anyway.
Of course.
And maybe your counselor can give you some. If you've got a good therapist that has a backbone, that can give you language to begin to draw him into a bigger and better dream of what this marriage can be, or draw it to a close. One of the two will happen, because one of those two is going to happen anyway. But all we're trying to do is give you the tools to do it with some wisdom.
And before there's a house and kids and the whole thing sideways. And also, let me give you a little bit of peace. It is, other than the sun coming up every day, couples who have been recently married in the first 6 months experience, whoa, didn't expect that, didn't see that. Now, they don't experience outright lying all the time like you are, but every couple goes through 6 month hiccups. Like, I didn't think this was going to be like this. I didn't think it was going to feel like this. And so let's pretend he doesn't have the tools to. He didn't know how to be a grown up and not act like a child. Great. He needs to go to counseling and learn some tools because he doesn't know how.
Yeah.
And you can model what that looks like by going.
This is childish and selfish behavior on his part.
And I'm sorry that you got dragged in it.
Yeah, and sometimes women do that. Sometimes men do it at all ages. It's not an age thing. It's not a guy thing. It's not a gal thing. And I'm not even positive, to be honest with you, that he was lying to you. I think he just did whatever he wanted to do. And it wasn't like he was sneaking around. The golf clubs were put on your front porch. So this isn't like he had some pattern of... Financial infidelity is when you have a pattern of lying that is a broken trust. And I don't think that... I think the only trust that he was going to follow this plan was in your mind. I don't think this guy ever signed up for the trip you took him on.
Well, I thought he was maybe lying because we have a budget and he has a budget of pocket money, and he put on there like.
Well, then he did lie to you on that. He broke his contract. He said, "I'm not going to spend any more than X," and I did whatever I wanted to do because, as all 5-year-olds say, I deserved it. Wah.
5-year-olds and congressmen.
This is the Ramsey Show. Thank you for joining us, America. This is the Ramsey Show. Dr. John Deloney is my co-host today. If you're just listening to the show, trying to piece together what we teach, you could do that on your own. It's called Common Sense. Live on less than you make. You can watch about 9,000 different YouTube things. By the way, there's been over 1 billion hours of our YouTube show watched. That's kind of crazy. 1 billion. Wow. That's just nuts. The downloads on the podcast are now over 1 billion. So, yeah, you can piece it together, or you can just do it the easy way and go through Financial Peace University. You're going to spend more than Financial Peace University on a pizza in some places. So you need to check this out. And right now, Dr. John Deloney, Ken Coleman, George Camel, Eddie Cullen are all teaching Financial Peace University classes and still have openings. Rachel and Jade are teaching them, but theirs are well underway and closed.
Hey, if you want to join mine, it's the last night. We've done 2 sessions. It's incredible. It's a blast.
Oh, cool.
So join mine. I want to cross a certain threshold. So if you're on the fence, we got 8 lessons left. Join us, man. We're having a blast.
All right. So you can be in Dr. John's class. There you go. FPU.com. FPU.com, or go to RamseySolutions.com. And when you're signing up for FPU, just message us, let us know you want to be in the personality class, Dr. John's class, if you wanted to, that kind of thing. Chris is with us. Chris is in Newport Beach, California. Hi, Chris. Welcome to the Ramsey Show.
Hello. Thank you for having me.
Sure. What's up?
I was just calling because I have a gambling addiction, and I don't know exactly how to stop it because I've tried, and I'm also worried of because I don't want it to affect my life obviously anymore.
Wow, that's scary, man.
Yeah, tell me about it.
Yeah. It started about 2 years ago. I noticed it, so it was fine at first because I was winning and stuff, and so I didn't think it was a problem. Then I noticed when I was losing, I was still doing it, and then it kind of got out of hand and bigger numbers. So it hasn't ruined my life or anything yet, but I'm kind of afraid that, the way it's going and the way I can't stop it, I don't want it to ruin my life,
What are you playing?
Yeah.
It's kind of the problem is mostly online because you can access anything, but sports gambling to table games.
What scared you recently that made you pick up the phone and call? Did you have a big loss?
I just in the situation. I watch your show, and in the situation I am in right now, like I don't have like any debt, or like I'm fine off right now with the amount of money I have, which is around $130,000. But I was calling to see if like there's a way or tips like to maybe stop it, because I don't want to lose any of that, and also like, you know, affect my life poorly.
How much have you lost?
Yeah.
Probably about 20,000.
Ooh.
How honest can I be with you?
Very honest.
I don't think you're there yet.
Okay.
Because you want to do this and have it not affect you.
No, I want to not do it.
No. You want to stop gambling? But you don't want it to impact your life. And if you want to truly stop an addictive behavior like gambling, you're going to have to change everything. You're going to have to go all in, and I don't hear that yet. I took a call. You can Google it and find it on my show, on the Dr. John Deloney show, where I sat with somebody for a while, and you can hear in the first 30 seconds, that kid is so done. So let me tell you, you absolutely cannot do this by yourself. You can't flex through it. You can't white knuckle it. You can't just do somersaults in your front yard and call it good. You're going to have to reach out to somebody and say, I need help. And you're going to have to submit yourself to a plan and to a group, to people.
So you need to get a counselor, and you need to get in Gamblers Anonymous today. And you got to unplug the internet.
It's going to require some radical action. Like you're going to have to get rid of your phone. You have to unplug your internet.
You gamble on desktop or on your phone?
Phone.
Yeah.
Both?
Phone.
Oh, phone. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Yeah, just get rid of, take everything off your phone except phone and email.
Okay.
And let me back up one thing. When somebody tells me...
Dumb your smartphone down.
When they have when they're doing something that's an addictive behavior, and the way I define addiction is it's hurting you and you keep doing it anyway. I always want to ask, what is going on in your life that this is the way your body has chosen to get through the day?
Yeah. I feel like I do it. I go to it whenever like bad things happen or things don't go my way. So then that's like my mechanism to kind of ignore it.
Be more specific. What's a bad thing?
Maybe like arguments with my girlfriend, or like whatever, I don't know, maybe a job I don't get, or something bad happens, or I have to, I don't know. I feel like I need to like get a win. Anytime I get a loss in any way you could think of, I try to get a win, as in, go to gambling.
So let me be super straightforward and clear with you. This will end in complete catastrophe.
Yeah.
Do you believe me?
No, I believe you. That's why.
It's hard to believe when you're young and smart and you kind of figured it out and you got $130,000 in the bank. This will end with you having nothing.
No, I know. That's why I'm afraid, because I've seen it and I've heard it, obviously, so I don't want that to happen.
So you've got to go, no pun intended, all in on getting well.
Okay.
So are you going to contact Gamblers Anonymous today?
Yeah, I can, for sure.
You're going to take this stuff off your phone today?
I'll try.
Nope. You're not ready.
Okay.
Call us when you owe $40,000 and you've lost all 130, and we're going to tell you the exact same things, and you're going to hear it differently.
If you're not willing to take the stuff off your phone and you're not willing to plug into Gamblers Anonymous, strip everything off but messaging, texting, and email,
and deleting all of your contacts,
and no browser that you can search, and no apps. Just take it off. You don't need a phone.
You tell me if it's not the only way. Have you been able to flex your way through it yet?
No.
And the problem that your body has decided is that the only way through it, this discomfort, is to do it more. And then to do it more. And then when you have your first, have you had a big loss yet?
20,000.
No, I'm talking a big one.
No, I think 2,000 was the most.
Okay. Yeah, you haven't had a big one yet.
Well, I don't want to.
I know. But you don't want to do the steps. I don't think you're going to call. Are you going to call?
I don't think so. Yeah.
I want you before the day's over to make a phone call and get connected to a group and go tomorrow morning. Skip work if you have to, whatever you got to do, man.
Yeah. And clean that phone off as soon as you get off the air with us.
Yeah.
And if you're not going to do that, Chris, you're just saying, I'm not ready. You're verifying what John's telling you. And I want him to be wrong. He wants to be wrong. But you got to be ready. Well, nobody can do this for you. And here's the thing. The two fastest growing addictions that are destroying people's lives right now, number one is online porn. Number two is online gambling. We know that because we work with people with money problems, and 100% of addicts eventually have severe money problems.
And you can hear it in my voice. It frustrates me, man. I'm heartbroken because I just know where this heads. I know where this leads every time. The 12 steppers say you have to hit bottom, and everybody's got a different bottom. Is it a high bottom, a low bottom? And sometimes a low bottom is it's scorched earth. You've lost everything, your job, all your relationships, all of your fiancés, and your parents won't talk to you, and you have no money. That's a low bottom. You're homeless and in the street. Sometimes a guy like this, though, gets scared and goes, whoa.
Yeah.
And he makes the call.
And that's a high bottom.
Make the call.
Yeah. High bottom is I lost 20 grand, and it woke me up. And here I sit in Gamblers Anonymous.
We love you, Chris.
But my story is not as flamboyant as the ones that had a low bottom. That's okay. It's still your story.
Yeah.
This is The Ramsey Show. Dr. John Deloney, Ramsey Personality, is my co-host today in the lobby of Ramsey Solutions on the debt-free stage. Paula's with us. Hey, Paula, how are you?
Hey, I'm doing fantastic, thank you.
Good.
I'm so excited to be here.
Well, we're honored to have you. Where do you live?
I live in Oklahoma City.
Oh, very cool. Welcome to Nashville.
Thank you.
And how much debt have you paid off?
I paid off $63,000.
Cool. How long did this take?
2.5 years.
Good for you. And your range of income during that time?
Started at 35 and making about 70 now.
Cool. What do you do for a living?
I am the director of people and culture for a child care corporation.
Good, good. And what kind of debt was the $63,000?
So it was mainly medical and IRS.
All right.
Yep.
Whoa, you owed the KGB money.
Yes, sir.
How did you owe the IRS money? So medical and IRS.
Yes, sir.
So what happened 2.5 years ago? What was the wake-up call?
So the
IRS.
So the wake-up call, so it's my journey kind of started, I started listening to you in 2011. My middle son was at Oral Roberts University, and we were coming back from in Nashville, actually. I have lots of good friends that live here, and he said, Mom, you got to listen to this guy named DJ Dave. He's like, DJ Dave, he's the guy. He said, you got to listen to him. And so he was like, you're going to love him. He talks about money. And I was like, okay. So we listened to you on the way back. And for so long, I was Dave-ish like a lot of people. It didn't seem like, my life wasn't on fire. Mm-hmm. So, and most of us don't really get going until, something walks down our street. You know what I'm saying? So anyway,
I hear you.
That kind of, had been listening to you for a long, long time. And then fast forward to 2016, I was married for about 25 years and pastor's wife, stay-at-home mom, and ended up independently owned and operated, aka single. And so I had gotten a divorce in 2016, and I just didn't know I knew how to pay bills and spend money, but I did not know how to budget. And my son Andrew, he is fantastic with money, he's actually a financial planner and by trade. And so I just told him, I said, hey Andrew, I said, can you help me, show me how to budget? And he said, okay, well, mommy, he said, I told him, I said, this is when I get paid, and what do I do with this this check, and what do I do with this check? And so he just walked me through that. And it's funny, Dave, because us Gen X people, you talk a lot about powder butt syndrome, and I agree with that. But at this age, you also have to be teachable.
Yeah.
Because if you can, we should be. If we can be teachable, then we can learn something. And my son, he told me, he was like, "You got to fatten your purse." From Richest Man in Babylon. He was, he told me how to do that, but he just walked me through those steps, and so started, still a listener, mainly for entertainment purposes, because a lot of us do find you entertaining, but the advice is amazing. Just it's just like you say, God's and grandma's way of doing things. So in 2017, my first grandson was born, and I became a honey, and I started thinking about doing all the things with him that I did with my other kids, and then going to Disney and going to the beach and doing all those fun things, but I couldn't do it because I didn't have any money. So I was like, okay, Jackson is one of my whys. And so that was, that's kind of how I got started. And then Andrew and Casper, his wife now, they were sitting on my couch one day, and they were watching Michael Todd, Relationship Goals. And I know Pastor Mike has given away FPU a couple times, recently and a couple years ago. But anyway, they were watching it, and he was talking about, it was the Relationship Goals series, the original one. Yep. And he started talking about divorced people and single people. And he was like, how you should go into your next. He said, start getting your bag now. Get your money now. Get your money right. So when you do go into another relationship, you'll be ready you'll be an asset, and you'll bring something to the table, with your next. So I became my next why. So Jackson was my first why. I became my next why. And then so I'm thought, 2019 came along. I said, okay, 2020, I'm going to start. So I started in January 2020.
Of course.
Right. And, and it was, I heard you, I woke up one day in January, and I literally heard your voice, Dave, say, "Game on, baby, game on." And I was like, okay, this is it. I heard, the voice of Dave, and so I started on that journey, and just, began to started shopping at Aldi's, like Rachel said. I'd never been to an Aldi's. I had never, done a lot of,
So now that you've paid off $65,000 in debt, what do you tell people the key to getting out of debt is?
Consistency and community. You cannot do it by yourself.
Amen.
I joined a Facebook group. Like I said, I started shopping at Aldi's. I started watching the podcast. I came to this. I did pay the money and come to the SMART conference last year when you guys introduced Jade.
Yeah.
And so, but just that community, you got, the Bible says faith comes by hearing, and hearing by the word of God. And it just does not work just for Christians. It is a principle.
Exactly.
So if you apply that principle, it works in every area of your life. It's like that tapestry that you talk about.
How does it feel to be free?
Oh, it's amazing.
Was it worth it?
Oh my gosh, yes, it's so worth it.
Will you ever go back?
No, sir. No, sir.
I'm just speechless. I'm still stuck at the Gen Xer being coachable, man. I kind of froze there. That's so rare.
Yeah.
So what'd you say? You said connection, community,
consistency,
and coachability. I'll add a third one.
And coachability. Yep, and coachability.
Hey, let me just high five you for having. It's hard to go to the guy that used to wipe his butt.
Yes.
And used to powder his behind.
Yes.
And say, it's humbling to say.
That was better than the first one.
I don't know what to do.
Right.
That's scary.
Right. Exactly.
Good on you.
Yeah, it was scary. It was scary.
Good on you. Because most parents won't do that.
Yeah. I had to, you have to, somebody, if you know somebody knows something you don't know, you better befriend them.
Yeah. Exactly.
So
that's very good.
I'm proud of you, proud of you.
Yeah, you're a hero.
And you just ruined it for everybody who says, I'm too old, it's too late. You just ruined it for them.
You are quite the opposite of a victim of divorce.
Exactly.
Yeah. I think divorce was a victim of you. took it down.
Yes. And my pastors were fantastic. Rodney and Shannon Fouts at North Church in Oklahoma City. Samson and Hope Varghese, they lead FPU. I never took it because I'm always on the road for work. I'm usually just home on the weekends. And then, of course, Pastor Mike and Natalie Todd, they gifted, the online everybody that, and so I never paid for FPU because I didn't want, but when they gave it, I sure signed up. And then when they gave it this year, I signed up again too. So
very good.
Incredible.
Good for you. I'm proud of you.
Yep.
Very, very, very well done.
Thank you.
Hey, we've got the Baby Steps Millionaires book for you. That's the next chapter in your story. The Total Money Makeover book for you to give away. Financial Peace University membership for you to give away since you've already got 2. And, we want you to be able to be generous and pay it forward because lots of people are going to be inspired by you. I am.
Thank you.
Way to go. You're a hero.
Thanks so much. I appreciate it.
You're pretty amazing. Very, very amazing. Good work.
Thank you.
Wow. What a story. All right, Paula from Oklahoma City, $63,000 paid off in 2.5 years, making 35 to 70. Man, she leaned into it. Count it down. Let's hear a debt-free scream.
1, 2, 3, I'm debt-free!
There we go. This is how it's done. Thank you, Pastor Mike Todd. Good stuff. Very well done. Very well done.
That's going to get me through the weekend, man.
I'm ready now. I'm ready. This is The Ramsey Show. Our scripture of the day, Proverbs 24, 33 and 34. A little sleep, a little slumber, a little folding of the hands to rest, and poverty will come upon you like a robber, and want like an armed man. Winston Churchill said, I never worry about action, but only about inaction. Open phones at 888-825-5225. Dr. John Deloney is my co-host today. Joel is in Houston. Hi, Joel. Welcome to the Ramsey Show.
Hi, Dave. How are you?
Better than I deserve. What's up?
So I travel about 2 weeks out of the month for my job, and I was just wondering what's the best way to kind of budget for that? For meals, I'm sorry.
Oh, for meals. Okay.
Yeah.
Are your expenses reimbursed or what?
So, yeah, I do get a per diem, a daily per diem. Depends on the location.
Is the per diem for food and lodging or food, lodging, fuel? What's it for?
Just for food.
Only? Okay.
Yes.
And how much is the per diem?
It can range between 59 and above.
Oh, it's different for different towns?
Yes. It follows the GSA.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever that is.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, absolutely. So can you eat on what they provide?
I do believe so. I mean, it's probably going to be pretty limited in the options, but, if I have to go cheap, I can go fast food. If I want to do like one meal expensive, I could probably do it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm confused at the question. What are you getting at?
So I'm in baby step 1, right? And I'm just trying to figure out what's the best way that I can save money while I'm out of town.
Okay. I don't think you're going to make money on this per diem. I think you're going to eat on it. The trick is to not lose money on this per diem, and that would be so your budget is no more than your per diem.
Okay.
That's your budget.
So, I mean,
yeah, if you can eat if you can eat for free when you're on the road, because you don't have to pay for the food, they are paying for it, then that should give you extra room in your overall budget because you're not having to pay for food on the weeks and days that you travel. And that should give you extra margin in your budget to be able to do your other stuff, like move through your debt snowball and so forth.
Yes, to answer the question you were asking, I especially in the past when I had a similar per diem, but even now, I'll go to a grocery store and get, and that's just, some of that's just because I'm kind of a health nerd, but I'll go to a grocery store and get certain foods and put them in my hotel.
How long have you been doing this? How long have you been traveling?
So it's a combination. I work from home, and then clients hire my company that I come out and do risk. I'm an information security analyst.
How long have you been doing this where you're on the road?
So I've been doing this since about September 2021.
Okay. And how old are you?
I am 31.
Okay. I've traveled with what we do, with events and speaking and book tours and everything else for 35 years now, okay? And I'm out some number of days almost every month. And what my experience is that when you're on the road, you have to be very, very, very careful about discipline, because you will say to yourself, I'm tired, I just got off an airplane, I don't feel like screwing with this hotel sucks, so I deserve ... and you'll not only spend too much on the food, but you'll eat the wrong kinds of food at the wrong time of day.
Right.
In other words, you'll eat 2 chocolate cakes at 9:30 at night and call that okay as a way to, I might know somebody did that. No, I'm kidding. I didn't do 2 chocolate cakes, but I have been known to eat half a box of donuts or whatever at exactly the wrong time. Because you're mentally fatigued, travel takes it out of you. People that think travel is glamorous are people who don't do it.
There's actually some research that says the more tired you get with traveling, it decreases your ability to make good choices, which the intentionality is so important, the discipline.
Yeah, so set yourself up some systems that says, I don't eat after this time of night, I don't overspend my per diem under any circumstances, and I'm going to watch my caloric intake, because a lot of people overbuy and eat at the wrong time of day and eat the wrong kinds of things, and they not only get themselves in a financial problem, they get fat when they're traveling.
And they don't sleep well.
Right. And it messes up your sleep patterns and everything else, because you're not sleeping well anyway. You're in a stupid hotel. And so, which is just, there's fancy ones and there's not fancy ones, and there's still a stupid hotel. And so that's the problem you're in. So that's, just be careful with that. I've been doing it a long time, and I've had this discussion with a lot of people who are road warriors, and it's a real, you can really justify it because you're fatigued.
Yeah.
And so just be real careful to set some systems in place to make sure you're doing your exercise, you're doing something where you're getting out in the sun, you're doing something where your meals are on a reasonable schedule, and so what I'll do, like when I go to a town now, they'll have me booked all day long, doing media, doing interviews, doing lunches with advertisers, whatever, all this kind of stuff all day long. And I review that itinerary before I leave. And if there's not margin in it to where I eat when I'm supposed to eat at a reasonable pace, we change the itinerary, because I have to make that margin for myself or the road will destroy you.
I found a strange hack for myself is the moment I get to any new hotel is I put my stuff down, even if it's 10 minutes, and I go straight to the hotel gym. And there's something about doing something that just reminds me this isn't a free-for-all. We're still at work, and life still counts, calories still count, sleep still counts. Money still is real.
Yeah, what happens in Vegas does not stay in Vegas. You will carry it home on your belt loops.
That's exactly.
It's just for real. It's amazing. All right, let's go to Cameron in Dallas. Hey, Cameron, right quick before I run out of time. What's up?
Hi, Dave. Hi, John. I just have a question real quick. I'm 23. Me and my husband are 23, and we're thinking about purchasing our first home. However, we were wondering if we need to build up our emergency fund a little bit more first.
It needs to be 3 to 6 months of expenses, and you need to be debt-free, plus your down payment.
Yes. We are completely debt-free. We have enough of a down payment. We have about 10% down for our first home. And we kind of have a little bit closer on the 3-month side. So we're just wondering if we need to go all the way up to 6 months.
Don't have to. We don't require it. The reason you would is if there's something unstable that looks like a coming emergency. Like, one of the jobs is unstable, one of the jobs is self-employment and it's not going well, one of the jobs is straight commission and it's not going well, something like that. If there's a reason that you think you've got something, your car's barely limping along, you're afraid it's about to go out, you may need to then. But, if you don't see something and it's just generally a vague, I like having more money around thing, you don't have to. If both of you have very stable, predictable jobs and the cars are in decent shape, you don't have to.
Okay, awesome. Thank you so much.
That's why we say 3 to 6 months. And so, but if both of your, new jobs, unstable jobs, self-employed jobs, straight commission jobs, that kind of thing, then you probably do need the 6-month side. And that's why we give that range. But the more volatile your life is, the more you would lean towards the 6-month side.
For me, it was a sleep tax, I called it. Those extra 2 or 3 months for me, just going to 6 month, just let me be completely at peace.
Okay.
It was worth. Hey, I'd rather wait 3 months to buy a house and let's crank this up than have that 3 and think. Ugh. So it was an investment I made in my ability to put my head on the pillow.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that either. But again, you don't need more than that. And you don't need less than that. So somewhere in that range, and you're in the safety zone, and past that, the difference between the two is a comfort zone thing. So good question. Well done, John. Good show today. That puts this hour of the Ramsey Show in the books. We'll be back with you before you know it. In the meantime, remember, there's ultimately only one way to financial peace, and that's to walk daily with the Prince of Peace, Christ Jesus.
Hey, it's Dr. John Deloney. If you love the show and want a deeper dive on your money journey, we have a weekly newsletter that gives you trending and helpful articles and tips on following the Ramsey way. Just go to RamseySolutions.com today to sign up for our newsletter. Again, that's RamseySolutions.com to sign up for our weekly newsletter.